isn't terribly different than Kokyunage, okay? The only real difference here, with Morotetori, they have the ability to run energy in different directions with the hands. So you can get both hands extending, both hands drawing, but the more difficult one for people is where one rotates one way and the other rotates the other way. So they're both spiraling up, but I have a pressure this way and a cross pressure this way. Okay, and so what everybody does is they try and do the standard tenkan that they did. I mean, like a young kid with that one. They run into it here. Look at this. There's not a chance in hell. So basically, let go for a second, don't move. There's a line that runs through the thumbs. That line is the weak line. So don't try and do this or this or this or this. Start to spiral in that line. So here's your Aikido. This he can't stop. I mean, he can try and crank like crazy on this. Now, because he just put more energy into the top one, now the line has changed. Now it's this way. You have to feel it. If he puts more energy into the bottom one and less in the top one, the line goes over there. Okay, so you kind of, when he grabs you, you're feeling this spot. Okay, so then you change the line just like the Kokyunage. I could hit him now, and he can't really do much to me. I keep going up. Okay, and now, let go, but don't move. When it was Kokyunage, it was all about dropping the weight into the elbow. And that's still here, but now I also have the Ikkyo curve there. So I'm running both of them. So when you teach this to people, to make sure they're not just using one or the other, but they're using both. Okay, have your partner let go with that hand. I still should be able to do it here. And then let go with that hand. I still should be able to do it here. Then you know that you're using both connection points. Okay. Now, when this is faster, I'm moving ahead of it. I mean, the real movement is there. That was the entry. That's your arimi. And you're already, so look at it. I mean, by the time I finish my tenkan, he's ready to throw. So you're just moving ahead. Timing-wise, everything changes. And that's what you're training for, is to not let him actually ever arrive at this place. So static training is about letting him arrive here so you can study how to move talk about internal power, back bow. Back is opening, front is closing. Still the leg. And the drop. My weight's dropping on top of him. Okay, so static practice is always precedes, if you're teaching a technique, I always teach it static first, to make sure everybody understands. Once you understand, it will look like that. And obviously, it's a lot easier to do it, one, because I'm moving properly, and two, because I never let him optimize. So static practice is you allow your partner to optimize, and then you have to figure out how to do it under the most difficult circumstances. Later, there, look at that. You see how I'm drawing him? When I presented here, he set his focal point. I already sucked him in farther than his focal point. I'm not any place where he expected me to be. Okay, so when you see this kind of thing, it's mediocre Aikido. Even if you see, whoa, and everybody's succeeding. Okay, I want to be changing size. If you've ever seen the old friendship demos, and it was Tsunade Mari, I think. Yeah, Tsunade Mari Sensei in the first Aiki Expo. I can't speak Japanese, so I couldn't understand what he was saying, but he kept talking about. So compression and explosion, that's what you're doing here. You're small, you're big, you're small. Look at him. I just sucked him in. If I didn't move, this is where I'd hit him. Okay, but instead, I've already changed it. So not only did I suck him in, but then when I tenkan, that put him in front of me. My hip is behind his hip. Okay, so all that's going on the more sophisticated one. And static, you have to learn how to do it. So there's the line. You should see that. There shouldn't be anything happening out here that doesn't change something there. Okay, he's being strong and I'm doing this kind of thing. You see, nothing's happening up here. Now I'm in. There's the Rimi, it's mental. And then there shouldn't be anything that moves here that doesn't start to change his shoulder line. And his grip can be as strong as you want, but I shouldn't be hitting the grip. If I'm moving properly, I'm not hitting that grip. You see, and I led him out in front of me, and then I threw across the line. Okay, now the other one's still the same, the omote, still the same idea. Actually, let's do this one. Believe it or not, now this shoulder's the better one, the one that got repaired. So still the same slide, slide, slide. Okay, with a twist when it's static, and then the shift of weight, and then opening up. And with all of these techniques, everybody gets stuck trying to throw. Okay, one, I don't have any Kazushi here. He's absolutely flat-footed. So if I had turned my core more and let him out, that would be good. But even now they try and throw. I want to open up around him. It has nothing to do with him. It's like I have a sword here, and when you cut it with a sword, you put your energy in the tip. That power is going around him, not at him. The only time this goes at him is if you're doing the elbow strike. And that's not a throw. That's just going to put the power right into his head or chin or nose or whatever you're hitting. Okay, so same thing as usual. There's the Kazushi. Should be no pressure. He can be strong here. And I just open up. It doesn't matter that he's strong here because I'm not putting any power here. Let's open, stay. Here's his Ikkyo curve. And that's what I'm running with my core and opening up. This is going around him. Now, when I drop on him, he's got no support. If he tries to fight me there, it's actually very unhealthy for him. You should not encourage your ukes. Yeah, it's like, if you look, anytime your partner is balance broken backwards, if they fight you here and you drop your weight on them, your legs are stiff because you're not going to the floor. Where's all that going? It's in your lower back. You do too much of this, you're going to end up with real back problems. So that's why, once it's here, he takes the ukemi. Everybody says, oh, it looks fake. Well, yeah, maybe. But, with sensei, it's like the way we were taught. if he tried to dispute me here, this is creaming him. The real technique, if you look at the old stuff, is this. So it has nothing to do with being a throw anyway. If I open him up here, this is the fight finisher. So why would we, at the point where I am making the choice to let him live or not be broken, why would he dispute this with me? It's a stupid thing to teach people to do. If he wants to dispute it, he should do it now. Oh, yeah, now. And then he should reverse me, okay? If I went to grab Ichiro and he ran into me, oh, that's proper practice for a black belt. Maybe not the white belts, okay? Because you don't really want them. You want them to learn kemi, good kemi habits first. So, you know, with the junior guys, if my partner screws up that way and runs into me, try and do the throw. Kokyunage. Okay, so you're trying to do Kokyunage. Okay. Yeah, he ran into me. Then I just don't fall right now. I'm letting him know. I didn't resist. I'm actually, if you look, very relaxed. He just ran into my structure, which means he ran into the floor through my structure.
Okay.
But for the black belts, he hits that wall right away. There should be a counter because you're teaching yourself to do kaishiwaza, and that needs to be spontaneous. If it's not instant, then he does henkawaza. He goes, oh, my technique didn't work, and then he switches it up. So the first one to change it up is probably the one who wins. So you have to train people to do that and not sit there and contend with each other. We should never really be contending. And people don't understand this. They're either tanking, which is martially stupid, and you can't learn anything, or they're going, oh, you can do it. He just punches me in the face. If I'm this tight and strong, I can't defend. This is, he tries to hit me. This is supposed to do something. That's what this is supposed to do. Has nothing to do with, you can't move me. Maybe in a sport, not being throwable is a useful skill because the other guy can't get a point on you. But even in judo, yeah, not being throwable is really good. However, you can't win a match without throwing the other guy. Otherwise, I guess it's a tie. Nobody can do anything. It's just a tie. So if you want to win matches, you still got to be able to do something to the other guy. And that has to be in a live connection. It can't be this kind of stuff. So we don't want to teach people that. It's just stupid. So when we do it faster, you can see that it's more like a spear. And this spear is spiraling, and I'm just moving through him. Okay? So once again, he never gets a chance to plant. This is where when I present here, I'm setting his focal point. I'm already through it. Okay? We looked at a Tamura Sensei video where he was doing it from the same thing from a grab. And he was going exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing. He's coming here, and I've already changed the line and changed him. There's the atemi if I was doing that, and I'm moving through. Okay, so the timing is, I'm already there. Okay. And, you know, people want to jump to this. They want the flow. They want the beautiful. And they want it to be effortless. And they don't do the work on the static. And that's the key to understanding it, is letting the biggest, strongest guy in the dojo, some beast, which I happen to have a couple of, okay? Ichiro is very strong, but he's not a beast. He has not hit beast status yet, okay? He's just very strong. But I have one guy who's like a redwood tree. So I need to be able to do this and bring him off the face and then open up and not even feel him. Then I have a technique. And then when I go fast, that's just starts to be something real. Ichiro's going for the arm bar. I mean, this is what Morotetori really is anyway, is trying to get that and blast me into the floor. So what Saito did was when this got locked up, he used his core to take his shoulder out. He didn't pull here. If you pull here, the guy's got you, okay? So the moment this energy went up and hit the shoulder, he led with the shoulder and led the guy out, which makes this a space. So he dropped his elbow into the space. So this is one of the things where, you know, if the guy got you this way, you've already kind of made a mistake. I mean, this means I wasn't doing what we were doing before, which was moving ahead of him. He actually got me. So now I have to make an adjustment. So when you teach it to the beginners, let them get the shoulder. The arm is still relaxed and heavy. If he's pushing up into this, it should be hard for him. And this is the endo sensei thing. Okay? And I actually could do this, but it's not the throw. It's not what Saito sensei did. Okay? So he's getting me, so I lead it out, and then come back in. And now I'm back to where I started, where I want to be for the throw. Okay?
Okay.
And I'm completely relaxed doing it. So you can't, when they grab you and start to jack you up, if you tighten up, you're hosed. This is like, oh, okay. It can be very fast. It doesn't have to. Saito sensei showing it as a basic form. So he's leading the guy out, dropping into the space. But actually, it can be this small. I mean, just as Ichiro grabs, when this is done, it's usually just touch and move. As he does that, I just want to go. So, in terms of what the core is doing, this is closing. It's actually bringing this, open the scapula up and bringing the shoulders in, and actually just leading. It's almost as if I were doing a shoulder strike, which, you know, we do sometimes. Not very often, because we like the people in our dojo, but it's there. Okay, so he's trying to catch me here, and I don't resist it. I just take it farther than he wanted to go. Once he goes out just even a little bit, it's ready to drop again. He's only strong here. Don't give it to me. Okay, so if I can disrupt that just a little, it's gone. Okay, he's really got you. He's jacking you up. He's trying to project you out. And all you have to do, okay, now we practiced doing that. So what Saito sensei is doing is more basic. It's not really just, because he's changing this line. So as he gets jacked up, he moves his hip, which moves his elbow, and now it can drop. Okay? So he jacks me up and just goes there. Okay? But like I said, you know, if they get you that far into it, you've made a mistake. Ichiro's strong here, and he's kind of trying to extend up into me. This is the one. What's invading? What's retreating? This is invading. This is retreating. This is neutral. And so he drops his weight on there. And then releases that pressure, because ostensibly your partner wants to come back up. Okay, if I drop on him and he's down there and he's not trying to come back up, then I just keep going down. Why would I come up again? But most of the time, he didn't want to go down, so when I drop on him, I release that, and there's the kazushi again. Okay? So this is a good one to practice. It also is one that doesn't work in the thumbs line. Okay, just let go, stay. It's working this. So this hand is really just not doing much of anything. And this is the pivot point. And you might have to raise your shoulder a little bit. If he's pushing down here, it's hard to get on top without. Okay, you could do it. He's on top, really kind of yonkyoing me here. If I draw him in, I can come over the top. Okay, and then you just drop on that and then release it. And there, if you make space for him to go past you on the release, you get this beautiful position.